It's time for Straight Talk Live with renowned radio pioneer Edna Howell-Parrish, the television show and podcast dedicated to presenting thought-provoking issues and opinions with the goal of challenging listeners to re-examine their assumptions and expand their opinions and give thought to new ideas and concepts to better their lives and the lives of others. This is your opportunity to participate in making the world better. So without further ado, let's get ready for Straight Talk Live with your host Edna Howell-Parrish.
Hello, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm Edna Howell-Parrish. Hey, on the screen you see my cousins. We're here for that Black Family Reunion chat. The Combs, the Olinger, the Cornett, the Hogs. We've been doing this for the past couple of months and bringing out the best in all of us. I just said to the chat today that we've only been cousins for 2 weeks, but really we've been cousins all along. It's just that we kind of knew we were Combses, we knew we were Olingers, we knew we were Hogs, Cornetts, but we didn't know how. And so today we're going to explain how we know we are cousins. We're going to explain the history, and not just the fact that we all come from the same town in southeastern Kentucky, Hazard, Kentucky, but the facts that all of our families have some ways come together and they have connected, bring our past and bring our present into the future. And we hope that by doing this, we can start our generation of today and tomorrow to come together and start talking and become friends and become cousins. And so today we welcome each and every one of them to the show today. We'd like to welcome our team captain. And our team captain is Herbert Cornett. Hey, Herb,
Hey,
thanks for
everybody.
coming. Herb is
Thank
from
you.
Montgomery, Alabama. And that's where the Cornett reunion will be held this summer. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We also have his sister, Kim Cornett Haskins. Hi, Kim. She's in the gold today.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome to you. We also have another sister, and let me get this right. It is Cheyenne Cornett Little. Hi, Cheyenne, the beautiful green and orange African print. Welcome. And now we have cousins that join the chat today, and they bring us unique information and offerings from their side of the family. We have a cousin. We have Diane Johnson from Cincinnati, Ohio. Welcome, Diane.
Hello.
And we thank you. We're waiting on Robbie because Robbie was with us earlier, and he got kicked out somehow, so we hope he comes in too. And then Patty and Debbie are cousins, and they're joining us today as well. And they're from Columbus. Good afternoon, and welcome, Patty.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Where's Debbie
I'm
at?
here.
Kick her on.
Hi.
Kick her on the hey.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing? Good to see you.
Hi.
Good to see you. It is so important that we talk about our family history, and oftentimes we find out that our families haven't talked a lot to us about our histories, and so we're going to find out why. And we're going to talk about some things too. Now, I asked the question, our icebreaker question today. Mama said, don't forget where you came from. Y'all ever heard that? Ever heard that, Herb? What did she mean when she said that?
Oh yeah, I've heard that
What did Mama
several
mean?
times from my parents. But my father would always say that there's 11 of you guys, so you guys should never want for anything, But my mother, she would definitely say, remember that your name is Cornett, But I never really got how big it was until we started doing things like this and digging into the family history.
11 of you all. It was 9 of us in my family. They had big families back in the day. And they always told us, you carry my name. And if anything happens and my name gets out there and it's involved in it, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, Kim?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And with my family, my father, yeah, would say that. But with six brothers, yeah, we were always watching and trying to do the right thing, trying to do the right thing.
And for you, for Cheyenne, you were part of that family too. Were you among the older ones or the younger ones?
I'm the oldest out of 11. I'm the oldest one.
Oh, you the
And
oldest one. You know that the oldest one always got the most. 'Cause you
I'm
were
the
the
oldest. I'm the oldest one. And I've heard that 24/7. You know where you came, be glad where you came from. You know where you came from. And that's the reason I moved back where I came from. Soon as I
Amen.
retired, I moved back where I came from because I love it. I love where I came from. They taught me to love it. My ancestors taught me to love Kentucky.
and
And it's just amazing that my grandkids, great grandkids, they're not going to experience what I have
Mhm,
experienced.
mhm,
And it really just hurts me to the core because they're not proud of where they came from.
mhm.
And half of them don't even know where they came from today.
and it's so interesting that you say that. I don't want to change the course of our
I'm
conversation,
sorry.
but I
I
want to
get
let
deep.
that's okay. No, because that is really important. They don't know, and we're going to keep that thought because I want to come back to that. Diane, as a cousin, you're part of that family. You were around them a lot. Did you watch what you said and watch what you did for fear that maybe across the line that somebody might call somebody and tell somebody what they saw you do or how they saw you acting?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my parents wasn't no joke. I was more scared of my grandparents than I was my parents.
Yeah, I hear you. Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Patty and Debbie over there, you cousins too. Did that was that same thing part of what your routine was in your family that you all heard that same story?
Yeah, but I never really heard them say "Don't forget where you came from," but my mom made sure that we didn't forget where we came from. She got us, involved in the family reunion before we were out of high school, and we've been involved for what 30, 40, almost 50 years.
I
50.
But
know.
like I say,
Right.
saying that they never did. But my grandparents lived with us for a while when we were younger. So I almost had like four parents. My grandfather taught us how to garden. We had to go up in the morning and well, late afternoon and pick weeds, and then we had to go water the garden and fight the mosquitoes at night. But he always had a big yard, so they always reminded us where we came from and took us back home. But I never actually remember them actually saying that.
Ask
Yeah.
ask Debbie to kind of jump in the picture because I want to know, was it different for you and your perspective of what was said and what wasn't said?
Yeah, like Patty said, I don't remember mom specifically saying that, but she would write like names on back of pictures and what they did and that type thing. So she, let us know we came from, great people, you know.
Hmm.
We heard that all of our life.
Hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
So you lead your life with humbleness, you lead with humility, and no matter how successful you have become, you don't get so high that you forget your family.
Mm.
That's
And
right.
that's what
That's right. I
our
agree.
parents always taught us. You don't,
Hmm.
you might get an honor, you might get an award, but you don't forget who you are and where you came from because
Hmm.
those are your beginnings, your humble beginnings and your roots as well. And so I see, looks like cousin Robbie's trying to come in.
Mhm.
We'll see if we can get cousin Robbie in on the show. Cousin Robbie, are you there?
Mm.
We're gonna
I
bring
see.
cousin Robbie in.
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I
You,
see.
Thomas.
Hey, he made it. Welcome to the
Yeah.
show, cousin Robbie. You're watching and you're
Man,
listening
if I
to
get kicked out one more
the family
time.
reunion chats.
Mm.
You're just gonna keep on trying to get back in. That's
I
right. That's
will.
right.
I will
Right.
It's
until the
Right.
program is over.
all right. So we had our icebreaker question, and you just came in right on time before we move on to another one. Did you ever hear that comment from mama or daddy or grandma after you perhaps had gone off and you did something really good, or you thought you was feeling good that day, and mama said, daddy said, cousin said, grandma said, "Don't forget where you come from, boy.
hmm Oh
I
yeah.
bought you in this world. I could take you out." Now I don't know if they really meant that, taking you out,
Oh,
but
they
I know
meant
they
it.
said, "I bought you in this world."
They meant
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, they meant it.
They meant it.
Yeah.
They
Oh
meant
yeah,
And
they
it.
meant it.
what do you think they meant by that?
To keep that legacy, to keep that name strong. To don't do anything that's gonna upset that family or create a chaos in that family name.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was
And that
stern,
is
and they lived by it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so. We have the Cornett family. Herb, as a team captain, we're going to talk a little bit about the Cornett family and how the relationships started between our families and those that are come before us and those that are coming after us.
Um, I wanted to start by going with how we are cousins, because I know, you've seen our Facebook page, and then we called each other and we had a brief talk together. But I'd like to explain that. And for your question, I'd like to defer to Patty after I get done, if that's all right. The picture you see on there is Ransom and Nan Olinger. This is how we're related, and I'm going to go down the list and you'll understand better, or everyone will understand better. Ransom married Nan Olinger and had Helen, Esla May, and she married James Holden. Patty, that James Holden is where um, I was speaking earlier about something else that lives in Columbus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then Laura Joe married Nathaniel Harris and had Jacqueline. Jacqueline married Michael Smith and had Adam and Aaron. And Cynthia married Daryl Knox and had Jocelyn, Justin, and Jessica. Okay, then we come down to Ethel and Burnham Combs. That's where we tie in, cuz. We cuz for a few weeks, but we cousins now. Um, Ethel and Ethel married Burnham Combs, who had Kenneth Combs. Now, Kenneth Combs was a historian of his family, along with Patty and Debbie's mother, which was Molly Cornett, great, and Cheyenne, who you see in the lower screen there. And what he did is he wrote and made different books about our family and about my granddaddy's brothers and everything. And because my grandmother, well, I'll let someone else explain that. But that takes us down to where how me and you are related, and Crystal and all them. But I can defer to Patty from here.
Wait. Will, great, great.
And that's where it comes in.
So
That's the picture.
okay,
So
so
Patty.
who were your parents, Herb? Who were you and Kim and Cheyenne's parents?
I'll let Kim explain that if you don't
Yeah.
mind, because that was
That's
her
fine.
segment of this. Okay.
Okay.
To make a long story short, how we related to you is through the Cornett brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Ransom
Mm-hmm.
and Grant. Am I right, Deb?
Granville, yeah. They were
Granville.
brothers.
They were brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we're related to you.
Mm-hmm. Edna.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so my understanding of our relationship is the fact that Ransom Combs was married to Nan Olinger. Their
Mm-hmm.
child was Ethel Cornett. Ethel
Mm-hmm.
Cornett married my cousin Burnham Combs. So she
Mm-hmm.
became
Right.
Ethel Cornett Combs.
Combs. Right.
Burnham Combs is my grandfather's brother, my mother's
Okay.
father's brother. So we're connected to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kenneth Combs, who many of you may know, who has passed away, is Crystal
Mm-hmm.
Combs White's father. And he is Burnham Combs' son. And
Mm-hmm.
again, the connection with Burnham Combs and my grandfather, Simon Combs, they were brothers. So
Mm-hmm.
when Kenneth Combs told me years ago, he said, "You're Combs, you're Cornett's." And
Mm-hmm.
then we haven't talked about the Olinger family and the Hogg family coming in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all double related. There's relationships on both sides of the family.
And we can't forget the Walkers either. I noticed
Yeah.
nobody has mentioned Walkers.
We have not talked about
Yeah.
Walkers. We have
Yeah.
not talked about Hagans. There is even more extensions of
Oh
our
yeah.
family.
Extremely Walkers, because the Walkers are extremely close to us.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so before we left off with that tangent there, Patty is going to talk a little bit more.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was gonna let Kim explain who
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Kim, brother.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll start out with my grandparents, which were Jesse and Joe Cornett. And Jesse and Joe had 3 children. They had 2 boys and 1 girl. The oldest was Jack Cornett, and Jack married Joyce, and they had 3 children. And then the middle child was Molly Cornett, which is Patty and Debbie's mother.
Mm-hmm.
Molly married Warren Gregory, and they had 5 children together. And after that, it was the baby boy was my dad, Raymond Cornett. And Raymond Cornett married Catherine. And then they had 9 children. And my father had 2 children before the 9 started. And that was Cheyenne, right here. She's on the call. And Geneva. And Geneva's not here, but they were before the 9 that started the family. And we all lived in Columbus, Ohio. All of my mother and father's, we were raised in Columbus, Ohio.
So you all were raised or born in Hazard, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
You all were
No, we were
born and
raised in
raised in
Columbus, Ohio.
in
Yeah,
Columbus, Ohio.
So was Uncle Jack and Aunt Molly. They were in Columbus. Well, Aunt Molly was in Worthington, and I think Uncle Jack was in Worthington too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a suburb of Columbus, and yeah, we
Right,
were all
right.
raised together with our cousins. Yes.
So how was the connection that you all had with Hazard, Kentucky and your relatives there?
Hazard was the starting place when we
Mm-hmm.
started going to reunions, and we even found more cousins when that started. And Cheyenne was really there at the time because she was older, so she was there at the time, and she knows a lot of those people and who they were married to and who their children are. So I'm very glad that she's here to share some of that a little later.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah,
Well, I want to
see,
show some of the pics. Go ahead, Herb.
my aunts and uncles and father, they were raised in Hazard. We were.
Hmm.
They were.
Right.
But see, back then, factories were booming up north. So a lot of the people moved up north because of work and employment. Westinghouse,
That's right.
Budweiser, all these big factories. So what they did is they packed up and moved forward, and moved north so they could have family, raise a family, so.
All right. So I want to start showing some of the photos that you guys sent in, because that's
Right.
really part of the program, and It's going to give us kind of a good image of who people are and how that all started. So let me see here. Let's go with, I'm going to put some of the pictures up without even knowing who I'm showing. So you all have to help me in terms of being able to kind of move around with that. Now, I got a lot of pictures from, let's see. Let's start. Who do I want to start with pictures to send me? Kim, you sent pictures today as well?
I did.
Okay. Okay, so let me get Kim's pictures up, and Kim, start telling me about what you sent me, and then I'll start putting the pictures up. Okay.
Okay. I don't see the pictures, but
I'm getting them ready.
okay. Because the pictures I sent were of my grandmother Jessie and Joe Cornett, of their 3 children. At a very younger age, which was Jack, Molly, and Raymond. And I also sent pictures of the mothers of Cheyenne and Geneva, my other 2 sisters, before my father met my mother and got married. Yeah. So those are the pictures that I sent.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So now I'm gonna start with some of the pictures now. So I'm sorry.
That's fine. No,
okay.
fine.
Now this on the.
That's my Uncle Jack. That's my oldest uncle. Jesse and Joe. That's their oldest child, and he had the 3 children with Joyce. He married Joyce. And Patty, what was Joyce's name before she was a Cornett?
Cannon.
Cannon. Okay.
Cannon. Cannon.
Cannon. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So so Jack married Joyce Cannon. This is on the lower is my grandmother Jessie, my grandfather Joe, and their middle child Molly Gregory, which is Patty and Debbie's mother. Molly
and
Cornett
Jessie is a
Gregory.
Combs.
Yes, Mama Jessie. We call her
No,
Mama Jessie.
I was just saying, Jessie is a Combs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mama Jessie was
Our grandmother.
a Combs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
She was my grandmother. That is the baby boy. That is my father, Raymond Cornett, when he was very young. I think that was like 17 years old.
Wow. Okay. I could definitely see, resemblances in you all in this picture as well. Uh-huh.
Yeah. The Cornetts have a strong resemblance in their eyes. Their eyes were always, profound. They were big eyes for Cornetts. That's how you tell. Are you a Cornett? Yeah. But that's Daddy Joe. That's Daddy Joe and Mama Jessie when we lived on the West Side. And they had a lot of pictures together. I was just very fortunate to have that to share, because you always want to keep your, grandparents and, and my mother and father is also gone. You just want to keep them in your mind, your spirit, and your heart, and Mama Jessie, I was very close to Mama Jessie and Daddy Joe. So, and that's Herb right there.
So is Mama Jessie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I said that's Herb, but I don't know. I think he said that's Granville, but I don't know the other people there, so he can chime in.
That's Grandpa Pete.
Okay.
And God, her name skipped me there. Candace Oliver.
Candace.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Because I was saying that this is her right here in this picture with the beard and mustache, but he looks so much like this gentleman right here. I mean, you can see the eyes and the mouth. It's so much like him. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Do you see that, Herb, or don't you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Herb, you see the image? It's funny.
Yeah, I see it. Come on, Robbie.
How we can look like ancestors from 2 or 3 generations, and and people that you don't know, but just like you look just like them. It's amazing to see that. It is really amazing to see how they look.
Absolutely.
How about this picture?
Wow.
Okay, that's Grandpa Pete.
Who is
Uncle John?
Okay,
that's Will Turner.
Who?
That's
Will
Will
Turner.
Turner. Yes,
Okay.
that's Grandma Molly sitting there holding the baby. That's
Mm,
Grandma Molly, Molly Asher. That's her brother, Will Turner. That's their mother in the middle.
yeah, you're right.
And over to your far right, the little chocolate drop, that's Granny Wilma. That's my
That's right.
grandmother right there.
That's right. Yep.
Hmm.
Oh, really?
And
Over
That's
here.
yes,
nice,
Okay.
I
man.
knew
Oh,
that.
shoot.
I
Mhm.
knew that. This is
There-
go ahead.
which one
Go
is this, you all?
this is Geneva's my older sister. This
Her
is
mother.
Geneva's mother, right?
Okay.
Okay. I never seen that picture
All
before.
right.
That's why
Did
I
you
said
want?
I didn't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are very good. Now, a lot of people might look at these and say, well, I really don't know these people and they probably don't mean anything. But later on, with this video, will be circulating around. You guys say you're going to keep it and perhaps show it at your family reunion. And so people are going to get a big kick out of seeing some of the pictures that they probably never seen before and didn't
Oh yeah.
understand who Mama and Joe and cousins were. It's going to really make a big difference for them as well. Some people watching and say, well, I don't know who these people are. Well, yeah, maybe you don't know.
Mhm.
But people that are watching will probably say, oh, I love it. It's just so informational for me and for them as well.
It is. It is. And I'm sorry,
Okay.
her name was Frances Ann English hyphen Flowers. So Frances Ann was her mother's Geneva's mother's name.
And you
Did you
can look
guys
at
do
the
that?
pics. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was it was shared, but I don't it hadn't came up yet. Dorothy or D Dot is what we call Cheyenne's mother. And I don't know if you have a picture of her or not. I don't know if
There was one
I,
sent.
We have one. Yeah.
I thought you
Okay.
did.
Yeah, I think
I
Herb
didn't
sent
send
one
any.
in.
I didn't send any
Hmm.
pictures.
No,
Okay.
Herb had them.
Okay. So let's go with pictures that were sent by, I believe,
Don't
let's
throw
do
up
the ones
that.
that some that Herb sent, and then we'll go through those, and then we'll get back. I think I had pictures from a couple other people as well, so we'll go in and start talking about that. So Herb, you sent me a lot of pictures. Now, where did you actually get your pictures from?
My
Me.
sister Cheyenne. She, like I said,
Oh, yes.
she kept some very good logs. I tell you, man. And these books that are written that I have here, these were done by Kenneth and her, and they, Molly and Patty and Robbie, and all of them put these things together. And we got all the brothers and everything like that. But the pictures came from her as well. So all them pictures you see of Hazard, she took because she was raised in Hazard as well as our parents.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start putting some of these up, and then between you and Patty, we'll kind of describe what they are. So we'll start doing some of that and showing them as well. So kind of hold on to your hat, everybody, and get ready and to see some interesting pictures of a town called Hazard. What do we see here?
Mm-hmm.
That's the post office looks like.
Post office. Yeah.
And these were taken
Post
back,
office.
what, in the 1930s,
Ooh.
40s
maybe?
maybe.
40s, 30s of Hazard,
Yeah.
Kentucky. Okay, I was born in Hazard, so that's my post office too, y'all. That's all right.
Hmm.
I guess the U.S. mail traveled through there as well.
Right.
Anything else
Oh,
you want to
that's
tell me?
nice.
Do you remember being on the street and taking a letter to that post office?
Cheyenne.
Yeah,
No.
Cheyenne. No,
No,
that's
I
too
don't.
far. That's too far.
She said no.
So back in that day, did they deliver mail to your house back in that day as well?
I was born in 1949, y'all. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
Not
No, that one was Manchester.
1903. Now,
Okay, okay.
this is
That was good.
Manchester's church.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
This is St. Paul, the church that I
Do you
go
know
to
anybody?
today. And
Mhm.
these are my mom's people. My
Mhm.
mother
Okay.
came from Manchester.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
married someone from Manchester.
Mhm.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's my grandmother's brother in the light suit. And he was the deacon in the
Mhm.
front row
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Mhm.
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 And
Now,
now
Mother
you're
and I,
the deacon, right?
Great picture.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and this picture was taken in 1949 because I was in my mom's belly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So I recognize this is probably the entrance into one of the coal mines down there in Hazard because
Now,
coal was
Debbie,
the
is that Blue Diamond?
Let me try this.
What?
a coal mine in Blue Diamond, Kentucky.
Uh-huh. I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know my father worked in the coal mines, bless his heart.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Mine
imagine
too.
going in there
Yeah,
underground and then
it's all of it.
bent over backwards and then, he was still a young man when he came out because then they moved to Ohio when he was still in his 20s. But he ended up, getting black lung disease, later on in life from that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's the entrance.
their coal camp was
Yes.
Lothair. Was in
Yes.
Lothair with the
Yeah,
brown derby.
I heard all those names before. That's amazing. Yep.
And speaking of that coal mine, my grandfather Joe Cornett was in those coal mines, and his daughter Molly was known as a coal miner's daughter. So I don't want to forget about that either.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 50 years old when he came out of the coal mines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he was getting
Right.
up there in age when he came out.
Mm-hmm.
This
Can
is
you
the
imagine them
theater.
being in the coal mines and breathing that black coal dust
Right.
and just I can't imagine. I can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
For
this would be
20 cents
you
a
said the
day.
family theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 cents a day. And then they had their coal stores where you can go in and they always say you owe your soul to the company's store
Yeah.
because they let you have credit
Right.
till you got your check, and then when you got your check,
You
you
didn't
hardly
no
have any money left over.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the family theater in Hazard, Kentucky, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go there?
Yes, ma'am.
What movie did you see?
Every Sunday after church, but if you don't go to church, you couldn't go to the movie.
Well,
Roy Roger and
I
Dell
heard that.
Evans.
Roy Rogers. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That
the
was
cowboy.
my
Isn't
hero.
it? Wow, that was everybody's hero. Now, what is this? Is someone's home?
That, I
Ah,
don't
Yeah,
know
I'm sure
that
it
one.
is, but I have no idea. Somebody's farm or something. I really don't know. I
That
just took
looked
it
like
off
the
of
coal camp.
Okay.
That looked like up there in
Wow.
Lothair.
mm.
Okay. Well, I know my parents lived in the coal camp too. I think they had three of us back then, And then I think after we moved to Ohio in 1950, 52, 53. I was about 4 years old. So, and I can still have very, very vivid images of some of the things in Hazard and some of the people. So it was pretty interesting as well. Let's go back to some of these family pictures. We have people that's going to be coming up on the screen, and maybe you can identify who they are and who they are to you.
Yeah, that'd have to be
That's
Patty
Daddy
and Debbie
Joe's.
to answer
That's
that.
Betty Cornett
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and her brother. What was his name?
Edmund. That wasn't
Well,
Edmund,
Edwin was too young.
Junior.
But that's Betty, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Georgie.
Yeah, it's Georgia May.
Georgie
Who?
Brown. Well, her
That's Georgia Brown. Yeah.
Georgie Cornett Brown.
Georgia Man.
Uh-huh.
That's
Well,
that's
That-
Dorinda, Rachel, and Arzo's mother.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That
that's
was-
Wilma's sister.
That's Granny Wilma's sister.
Right.
She was the
It's interesting.
Will and Marge, Will, who started out the family over here, Granderson was one of his brothers, and that's the branch that Georgia May came from. That's where
That's Lucian.
Lucien
Yeah.
and Aunt Wilma and all of them came from.
That's Lucian's daughter.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so Granny Wilma had sisters and brothers. on the Combe side, and she had sisters and brothers on the Cornett side.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But he
Okay,
was
so
the
and
father. I mean, the
on the
brother
screen
of
is
Will.
who?
That's one of the
Yep,
Bakers.
Okay.
that's the Is that
Is
Aunt
that
Thelma?
Juanita? Juanita Baker.
Juanita, yeah.
Uh-huh. And
And
that's from
is
our
she a
great
cousin or who is
grandfather.
she?
She's from my great grandfather's Granville. See, there was 11 brothers and sisters of Will. I mean, kids of Will and Marge, and Granville was one of them. And he and Candace Oliver had my daddy Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That's Aunt
So,
Nellie.
and Granville had like 3 wives.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one with Laura Rose, he had Eller, Nellie, and Emma Little. And this is another one of the sisters of Emma Little and Ella and Granville, my great grandfather, and Laura Rose. That was one of their daughters, Nellie.
That's who
That's
they
where
say.
The Akron
Awesome.
side comes in.
Right.
That's a,
Yeah.
That's
yeah, that's what I
Okay.
was going to say.
Aunt Nellie
Okay.
is who they say I'm like.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can see that.
Yeah, remind me to
Okay.
tell you some stories of Aunt Nellie. Yeah, I can see
I done heard. I done
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heard.
she's
Yeah.
something. She was a
Was that in
hairdresser.
Benton
Yeah,
Harbor?
she was a hairdresser. She had her business in her
Yeah.
house.
In Benton
Now I
Harbor?
Uh-huh.
can remember the Mount Mary Hospital. Just that was up above where my grandmother lived. I think their house was at Main Street, but up above them on the hill. They had steps going up the hill that would go to my aunt's house, but right
Right.
across from there was Mount Mary Hospital. And I know my father's mother worked there at one time. I guess everybody in Hazard at one point, worked at the hospital or was
Did
part
your
of that.
auntie
So
give piano lessons?
I'm not
Somebody
sure.
somebody on that hill gave piano lessons.
Hmm.
'Cause I
Yeah, her
spoke with
name
what was her
her
name?
name was Winnie Thompson.
Okay, because I know I went to
As
her as a child.
Yeah, yeah. She lived up on that hill, but I can remember going from my grandmother's house and climbing up that hill. Those steps were so steep going up the mountain.
Right.
It was crazy, but we
Yeah.
went up there. It was always fun. 'Cause we were little kids then, didn't really know what we were doing, but we went anyway. But it was a lot of fun just seeing that going up the
Oh
hill as
wow.
well.
Yeah.
This is another picture, yeah, that you sent, and everybody talks about if you lived in Hazard, you went to Liberty High School.
Liberty High.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
I
That
know
was
my mother
it.
went to Liberty High School. Yeah.
Yeah, mine too.
And they have big reunions every year. So, going back and that was really important for them to be able to understand that as well. So I think I have another picture. I think this is something called the duck. I don't know what the duck is. You sent me this picture. Can you explain
Well,
what the
someone
duck
told
is,
me.
maybe?
I know Robbie can explain it because they mopped over his foot, buddy, and he
It's
went off
called
from
Mother
there.
Goose.
Mhm.
It's called Mother Goose.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
someone's
Mother
actual
Goose.
home.
Hey, Robbie, you remember when they mopped over your foot? That guy took that mop over your foot?
We were down in Chevy's. We were in Chevy's. Isn't that in Cheyenne, Chevy, Kentucky? Cheyenne was with us.
But what is it? Is it a bridge or a hill or what?
No,
It's
that's
the
where they
house.
built the hotel. They started to break ground.
Are y'all
there.
talking about Lost City Dale?
No, no, no.
Oh,
The
He
goose
was
house. The goose house.
the Goose House.
Right.
That was someone's
Yeah.
actual house.
That's not.
That
I don't know what that is.
No, that's not the picture of the goose house.
no.
No.
Yeah,
Mother
the
No,
Mother
that's
Goose house, that was,
that picture was explained to me as where they broke ground to build the hotel.
for the Holiday
Okay.
Inn.
Mm.
I don't
No,
know which
honey.
one, but
I thought Lost City Dale, Robbie.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, because
It's
that's
high
like
up.
Centerdale.
That's way up.
That's
That's
all
Lost
right.
City
Mhm.
Dale.
okay.
Yeah, because you can see over.
Right.
that's a scary drive going up that hill to the Citadel. That's, oof, man,
Mhm.
But
that's a scary
once you
drive.
get up there, I went up there last year. Once you get up to the top, you can't go to the hotel anymore. Like it's cut off.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Where
Yeah.
where do you go to?
Well, you have to turn around. Like literally, they blocked it all off. The
Oh,
hotel, the mountain or something was falling down. It was um, caving in or sliding down or something. So they
Mm-hmm.
literally stopped. You have to go up so far, and then you can turn around in that little parking lot and come back down.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
see. So now this is a picture of what, the courthouse?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's
I believe
Hazard
so.
Courthouse.
Yeah, I understand it was really immaculate back in the day and really stood for an example of what progress meant in down in that area because people came and said they wanted to build courthouses like this in their city and it was a big deal. So that's a great image to see and to understand what it was like back in the day as well.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. So now we're going to go and check out some more pictures. So let's see what we have here. This is a picture. I'm not sure who sent me this one.
Oh,
That's
that's my dad,
Daddy
and
on
that
the end.
yeah,
Did you send me
that's
this,
my
Herb?
dad.
Yeah, I sent you that, and somebody told me that family's last name was Roses or something, but I don't know them at all.
I
But
don't know
that's my
him.
father. That's my father on the left there with
On the far left,
the
Link.
hat cocked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you barely
Oh
can
yeah.
see him.
Was that Laura Rose's family?
I don't know. They
Anybody
just told
know?
me
Because she was
Roses,
married to
Patty,
our great grandfather. That was his
and
first
so
wife. So maybe
so they
that's
would
her
have been
family.
cousins.
Yeah, by marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at this time, when my father was living, he told me he left home and was living with them.
Mm.
Okay.
And I don't know why he left home or whatever, but he
Hmm.
left home and was living with his family, and they were Roses. That's all I
Okay.
knew.
Then he was living with his grandfather and his wife.
Yeah, right,
Yeah. So
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her family, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
And
sense
that's where
now.
Nellie and them came from. Emma,
Hmm.
Laura, Nellie from that reunion.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Eller. Yeah. Yeah. Because they only had the one
All
girl,
right.
our
That's interesting.
Eller.
Now, Herb, I think this came from you.
Yeah, that's something good that they had at Liberty High School. I don't know what
yeah.
the
I've been
event
saying, oh, these
was.
are teachers.
Okay,
Those are
teachers. Okay, good.
yeah. They were
Mm-hmm.
teachers from Liberty School. Now it
Hmm.
became Liberty High when everybody got older, but it used to be Liberty School because it went from first grade to 12th grade.
Mm.
Okay.
Huh.
And I remember that name of Professor Preer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a name I think that I would never
He's been
forget.
in a
My
lot of
mother
different
talked about
places.
him all the time and his wife as well.
Miss
So,
Peer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so that
Now
was
that
really
one with the
one
white
of the big hits
earrings. You remember
that she
Miss
loved.
oh, I'm sorry. Miss Katie.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Miss Basie.
Right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Miss Basie. That was one of my brother's teachers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Alvaretta Basie.
exactly.
Oh, I don't know
Mm.
where that name came from. I
Right.
remember that. My brother
Yeah.
was like
Mhm.
5 years older than me, but I remember that name.
And my auntie
Wow.
used to
That's
do her hair. About
Mm.
okay.
Wow.
every other week. She was a home beautician, Mama Demp, and she did Miss Basie's hair
Okay.
every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Amazing. Now, who is this on this photo?
I think it's
Hmm.
Addie
I'm still
Cornett.
Anybody
looking at it.
remember?
Addie.
I think it's Addie
Addie
Cornett.
Cornett.
Okay.
She
Another
was a
one of your.
Gibson. I think her mother was Jane Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to
And
find
good
it.
looking people
I'm a
from back in the day,
slide.
too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They had all them kids.
Let's see, we have another one coming up here. Now that's an image. That's an old image. Wow. Anybody
Now
remember who that would be?
the name on that was Jack and Bill.
Yeah.
Oh.
The baby
Mm.
was Jack, wasn't it?
That's Uncle Jack.
Uncle Jack, yeah.
And who was Bill?
Bill was that Dr. Britt's brother? That would have been Uncle Jack's grandfather.
Uncle Bob.
Uncle.
Uh-huh.
That's Cecil.
Yeah, that's Cecil.
And Cecil was a
Walker.
cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Walker. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Mary Virginia's dad.
Yeah. Mary Virginia, the branch in Toledo.
Right.
Yeah, that'd have been his
Charlie
uncle.
Cornett.
Yeah, that's Charlie
Yeah.
Cornett.
Yeah.
One of your
And
uncles.
no, he was on Mary Stell's side, so he would have been with Great Granville when he was his last wife, Rachel Stacy.
Now,
I
Mary,
see.
Mary
Okay.
Estelle was where? Where
No,
was she
Mary's still
located?
be different.
Where does she live?
Who, honey?
Indianapolis.
Mary Estelle. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
Joe Baby's sister.
Joe Baby and all now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's
There's
Joe
Joe
Baby.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Joe
This
Me.
picture coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that in the back? Is that
Okay.
Michael Cornett?
I
Who?
can't see him good.
Michael Cornett.
Oh no, I don't think so.
In the far back, the one that's a pastor up in Louisville.
Mm,
He was a
I
pastor in
can't see him
Hazle too.
good.
I don't know. That's
I can't see
Cheyenne.
him good.
I
All
see
I know is me
Cheyenne.
and
Oh,
me
yeah.
and Joe.
Go,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Joe Baby. Which his name is Winston.
Mm.
Right.
Winston Cornett.
Okay. And Diane, these are some pictures that you sent me. I thought they were so interesting when were discussing this. I said, "Oh yeah, I think when you mentioned the name, I said, yeah, everybody knows who that is." And you said, "Well, no, not quite everybody would know. Who is this?"
Mm-hmm.
That's Kobe Bryant. He's
Okay.
on he from Akron. His parents his father's name is shoot.
Oh.
I'm
Ronnie.
sorry.
Oh.
Ronnie.
I forgot his father's name. I'm
Ronnie.
sorry.
Ronnie, isn't it?
Yeah, Ronnie. His father is Ronnie. His grandmother, we just had her funeral was last year. Yeah, I'm
that's
brain
right.
dead. I can't remember, but
She's from
yeah,
Akron.
And that's
Gwen?
okay. He's just he's one of the
Gwen,
cousins,
Gwen?
and it's very
Yeah,
important.
Yeah.
Okay,
From the
one of the cousins.
yes, he's from the Akron side.
Was Gwen his grandmother?
Yeah, Gwen.
Mhm.
Right. I can't
Okay.
think of her name for nothing.
Okay, and here's another one of your relatives, or our relatives, I should say. I know this gentleman is from Akron, Ohio. You say,
Bill
Summit
Razor.
County. Yeah, first black bailiff in
Mhm.
Akron
Billy
County.
Razor.
So
Okay, I didn't know.
his name Billy Razor,
Mhm.
and this is an article that talked about he had passed away, but really, from what I understand, he's was very well known for his not only his work in the courthouse, but very
Can anyone hear me?
fashion conscious person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That they talked about him as well.
Mm.
Okay.
And Edna,
Let's see here. We have some more pictures.
Edna,
Yes.
I like to comment on this right here because every year in February, I look for people to do Black History on. Not knowing this was my cousin, I did a report on him for Black History. And I'm finding out right now, that he's our cousin. That's really something.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, you know we related
So
to
you have
Puffy Combs, Puff Daddy.
P. Diddy.
P.
Absolutely.
Diddy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Puff Daddy
'Cause
is part of the Combs. Go ahead.
Right. Rachel Stacy, my great grandfather, his last wife, Rachel
Granville.
Stacy, that's the line he came down from,
Mm.
because Lucinda and Floyd Combs had Nadine, and That's the branch that Puff Daddy came from.
Right. That's what we all talked about it. We always thought we were related, but then as we began to talk more about it, we learned that comes from our grandfather's side was Simon Combs, Burnham Combs, Cassie Combs, and like you said, they were from the children that they had. Cassie Combs' children down that line. That's where they came from. So, yep, we related. Can't deny that.
So have you heard of Floyd Combs?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That was Nadine's dad.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I got.
And definitely heard of Nadine too. And that's another cousin from the side of the Cornetts. Her name was Georgia May Cornett, but she was related to from Hazard, Kentucky, Miss Kendricks. I don't know if any of you know them in Backwoods. And her, I think that was their mother. They were also related to Chester Rose. And that side of the family from them as well. So I could think about Georgia Wade Cornett, and then she married Arnett. So that was pretty interesting, how that connection came about. Okay, let's see if we can find some more photos. See, Herb, I think we showed all of those. And did anybody remember any photos that I didn't show or might have shown?
Robbie, did you send yours in?
Knock me out.
Okay.
What'd you say, Herb?
I was asking Robbie, did he send his in of Lucid and all that? Ain't Wilma. I don't know if Robbie can hear us.
Robbie.
It looked like he stopped.
Yeah,
Robbie's still here.
I'm in the studio now too. It dropped me.
Oh.
I can still see you though.
Who got dropped?
Okay.
Robbie's
it says
picture is frozen.
Oh, okay. At that same time, it says, let's set up your studio.
Oh,
but you can still see me though, right?
Right.
And you hear me? I don't know what, it's probably my phone.
Well, we were looking for one picture, which was Cheyenne's mother, D-Dot. We didn't see that yet. I don't know.
Cheyenne's?
Yeah.
I am not sure. I mean, they're in folders.
Well, that's
so
okay, because when you look at me, you see her. So
okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't show your mom. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I know I didn't have. I thought Herb might have sent it in. So
well,
okay.
we was proud to. We were raised by two mamas.
Well,
right.
You know that we were very blessed children.
Yes.
Very blessed children.
Yeah, Robbie, are you
always D-Dot and Mama Catherine? I mean,
wow.
Too many people say they had two mamas at one time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Herb, let's talk about your family reunion coming up this year because
you guys can hear me.
Okay, we can hear you.
There you are.
You back with us, Rob?
Nope.
Robbie.
He can't hear us. Okay.
Robbie, I can see you. I can see you, cousin.
Okay.
He's gone again.
So try to add it into the studio. Yeah, let's talk about the reunion coming up this year. How many years have you all been holding the Cornett family reunion?
I'm kind of off of that because of the COVID, but I think it should be 48, 47, 48.
Now this year will be the 49.
49.
49?
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Because next year's the 50th, yeah.
Okay.
The 49th reunion. Okay, let's talk about where's it going to be at and who's invited to come to your reunion.
Everyone's invited. Yeah, everybody's invited that wants to attend and wants to learn about their history and want to learn about Black history also because Montgomery has a lot of Black history here. That's why I wanted to actually bring people down here so they can not only learn about our family history, but learn about Black history as well. And that's
Mhm.
going to be in August, the 1st through the 4th, right here in Montgomery.
All right. And so what is there? Is there a cost for the reunion, or is there a registration fee or membership fee that you have to pay?
Yeah, the registration is different though. If you're over 81, it's free, and 18 to 80 is $100, and then the kids have a different price. It's $45 under that.
Okay,
And
so if
then
you
you have hotel expenses, which we're staying at the Stay Bridge this year.
okay.
Mhm.
And
Looking
is there a
forward to
special
it.
deadline before people can not register anymore, or will registration be open throughout the coming summer, throughout August, up to August the 1st?
Yeah, right now it is, but everybody on here wants me to go ahead and put a deadline on it, but I haven't yet. So
Mhm.
I was going to go all the way up to you walking in giving me that money, but they're strongly against that. So we might put a cutoff date, and it might be close to mid-July if I do.
I see. Okay, excellent. Now we have from the chat is J.M. Ross saying, "I
Yeah.
love the pictures. It takes us down memory lane."
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who J.M. Ross is?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
He's a cousin. Yeah.
Well, he's a cousin. Where are they
Yeah,
from?
Robbie, if he was in here, go ahead, y'all.
Yeah,
That's
it's
his
Robbie's
son, isn't
son.
it? That's
Yeah,
his
Robbie's
son.
son. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's right. You're right, Kim.
Okay, we try to get Robbie back on stage, but
There you go.
there he is. It's your cousin,
Hey, y'all
Robbie.
know what? Let me tell you,
No, it's
I've been an
he's his
actor and a
daddy.
model all my life. I have never been outcast in that many days in all my life. I'm trying to tell y'all.
It's all right. We prayed before we started, so we asked God to bless
Yes,
all
yes,
the little
But
yes.
mistakes and all the little things that
y'all
happened.
have no
So
idea how hard I was praying. I was like, look, Lord.
thank you, Jesus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well,
They
thank
just
you,
Tell
J.M.
us a
Ross,
little
for
about your
checking in with
son.
us.
your
Yeah,
son is in the
Jalen was just
chat.
calling me. Jalen was texting me saying, "Hey, they're asking, can you hear?" But I'm sending you chat saying, "Hey, it's distorted. I get a lot of feedback, and it's kicking me out again."
Mm,
Oh,
But
okay.
Jalen is my son. We just did his third annual TAR syndrome awareness marathon yesterday. Jalen is the founder and CEO of TAR Syndrome Awareness. TAR syndrome are
mhm,
children or people that are born missing the radius bones from their um, in their arms, mainly from the
mhm,
elbow to the wrist, to where they don't have the full extension of their arms. Some are born with short arms that are located on their shoulders. Some are missing hands. He was blessed with both arms, both hands, and all fingers. Um, God gave him his purpose and put him on the path.
mhm.
It started
Amen.
off
Mhm,
as a local awareness. Then it became a state awareness, and 2 years ago it became a national awareness
mhm,
through Joe Biden.
All right.
And now
mhm.
the month of April is TAR Syndrome Awareness Month
Yep.
across the country,
All right, great,
and it's
great.
even
Mhm.
moved into international, y'all.
I
They've taken
know.
it into France, Germany,
Oh,
Italy.
that's
I mean, it's just
wonderful.
yeah, it's
Gets
That's
really
wonderful.
powerful.
chills. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know that with our new administration, I know a lot of things are going to be different. Will that affect what they're doing with the research with
It
the
it it
foundation?
it, it does to a certain point, but our God, our
Amen.
God,
Amen.
the true
Amen.
and living God, um, He refuses to allow that to happen. The doctor, one of the main doctors who has acknowledged TAR syndrome within this decade, he was here from Pennsylvania. He was at the marathon yesterday, and he had broke it down. And that's one of the things that he's concerned about. But by them being a nonprofit organization, they do have so many people that are backing them up for this
Mhm.
research because more
That's
children are
good.
being born with this birth
Guitar.
defect. So it
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
It's sad to say that they would like to take away research pertaining to anyone's health or well-being, but
Mm-hmm.
I trust God because we serve a mighty God. And yesterday, it proved to be that God is awesome. There were so many people that older than Jalen, and Jalen will be 31 this month, that were
Mm-hmm.
there who have experienced this, and they just found out just in these past couple of years what it was that they actually had due to him starting this foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that a situation that is brought into families through the genes or through DNA? The
It's actually through some DNA studying. It's supposedly one in every 1,500 couples or so share the same chromosome.
Mm.
And when those chromosomes match, the doctor, I asked him personally yesterday that one parent can have a defect chromosome and then the other parent may not, but it can cause that birth defect, or sometimes both parents carry that defect uh, birth cell, I mean the stem, and it could cause more drastic birth defects, or some come in fatal, some not make it at all. So
Mm.
amazing,
it's really
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
I
interesting.
know. In our Combs family line, no, arthritis is one of those issues that affects our family quite a bit. So, we have to always check our family health and asking about those kind of things because we don't know. All of a sudden, somebody may end up with cerebral palsy or something
Mm.
like that,
Hmm.
or breast cancer. So, those things we need to pass those along to our children as we grow. Comment from Joyce Keith. She said, "Hi, cousin Diane." Uh,
Okay.
I don't know if Diane knows
Hey,
Joyce Keith, but I know Joyce because that's my sister. So she must know you, cousin Diane. So,
Oh,
Diane.
really? I,
she
Where's she
must.
at?
That's
I,
my
I
sister.
that name, I don't know. I have to see
Yeah,
a picture of her. Where does she live?
she lives in Dayton, Ohio. She lives in Centerville, suburb of
Okay.
Dayton,
Oh,
Ohio. So
Right, it is. It is.
so
yeah.
she's my sister. So I know she probably knows you at some point. I guess I don't
oh
know,
my
Yeah,
but
God.
yeah,
it's
yeah.
great. Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. You
Ain't
never
that
know who
beautiful?
knows you or
Showed
whoever
out.
sees you or
That's
would know who
beautiful.
you are. So it's neat.
Right,
So
right.
Herb, I want to talk about the acronym for Cornett. I see it scrolling across the screen right now. How did you come up with this, and what does it mean in terms of the family reunion, and how has that been connecting with the reunion over the years?
I think
Well,
Herbie made that
I'm
up.
real big.
Yeah. Go
I'm
ahead.
real big on acronyms anyway. In the morning times, I usually try to send out a little prayer to everybody, and I try to use an acronym of some kind. You know what I'm saying? So when it came to the Cornett family reunion, I just thought about it, and I got a few letters together, and then I got a few more, and then before you know it, it all came out to be. But it stands for Carrying On Reunions, Never Ending Total Togetherness, because this is a praying
Right.
family, a loving family, and it's been that way ever since I've been in it.
Right.
So I thought that would fit as far as uh, just speaking about our family.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. And also, I had another issue that when we first started talking, and you all were sharing with me your brother Juan. Tell us about him and what he has gone through over the past couple of weeks.
Okay,
Well,
I'm in
Kim is down there with him now, so I'm gonna let her have that.
okay.
Go ahead, Kim.
I'm in Texas now. On March 26th, Juan had a seizure,
We're getting some
and
feedback again.
that took him to the hospital where they found a tumor on his brain. And so one thing has led to another. Since then, he's had a couple procedures, but the main one was to remove that um, tumor, and that was 2 days ago. He's currently in ICU, and he has several drains that are attached to him. I think there's like four. And so they removed all of them except one. What they wanted them to do was dry up, and they dried up, which means there's no more leakage from these areas. So he has one more. that he has to do. So he'll probably be in ICU for about another 4 days, and then in a regular room. And then they said a total of 10 days he should be, and then they will diagnose him or reassess him at that point. But he keeps his eyes closed. He's in good spirits. He's in good spirits. He keeps his eyes closed most of the time because his head and eyes are swollen. So it's very painful to open them. But he's in good spirits and resting very well.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just want to shout out to Juan. I hope that he feels better, and to the family members,
Yes.
and to you, Kim, and everyone who
Thank
comes
you.
together. I know my brother Tony recently had colon cancer surgery. He's doing quite well.
Man.
Pray for him because he does not want to quit smoking, and you know you need to be healthy, but he continues to want to smoke. So that's make that be part of your prayer
Oh,
to
it
keep
is.
him
Every day.
keep him in your
Every day.
thoughts. It's so hard. None of us are
Every
perfect.
day.
We don't
And
live a perfect
what's his
life.
name?
His name is Tony. Anthony. He's Anthony. Yeah, Anthony. So we want to make sure we do that as well. Think about them.
Yeah.
Is there anything, as you stop and think about, any of you that you regret that you didn't ask mom, dad, or cousin or auntie about the family, that you could go back and say, I wish I had asked them. I wanted. It's a burning question. I got to know. Any thoughts about that?
I regret asking my grandmother about some of the recipes, some of the things that she used to cook, especially them fried apples. Uh,
Girl, what you talking about?
that's what I miss asking about the recipes. Because one thing about my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt, they were some cookers. They some cooking people.
Yes, the fried apple
Thank you,
pies.
Kim.
I
Mm,
can remember that. My mom, and she would tell us, and we would watch. But then, like the homemade rolls and the pound cake, we would watch, but we didn't write it down. And she had her
right,
Oh yeah.
recipes, and she
right,
just knew a little of this, a little of that. That's how they cooked back in the day.
right,
Oh
But
right.
we
yes. Oh
learned
yeah.
anything that anybody else thinking about their family they wish they had asked before it was too late.
I
Yeah, I
wish
wish
I
I would
had.
have asked my mother.
Go ahead.
I wish I would have asked my mother where she get that ice cream machine from. She used to make homemade ice cream with like crystals of salt, if I can
Right, rock
remember
salt.
correctly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, rock salt or something, and they would stir, turn it or whatever.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
But
yes.
you can't find one of them machines nowhere.
Yeah,
I
Mm-mm.
don't think so.
she
They
made root
got the
beer
kind
too.
now you plug in. They're made with electricity, and
Oh yeah,
that's what they
easy.
do.
Yeah, yeah. But she made root beer too. She would put
Yeah.
about 30 bottles in the backyard and to lay in the sun after she, had filled the bottles up and capped them. They would lay in the backyard. We had a lot of root beer in our house.
Awesome, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that as you think about this, all of you that have children, are you making sure that you share some of these little stories with them, and so they can take that into their generation, into the future?
Well,
Well,
go ahead.
I would say we try, but the generation under us, I would just keep it
Come
real.
on.
They are
Come
so
on.
messed up. They don't want to learn. They don't want nobody telling them nothing.
They're
Uh,
different.
they think, somebody asked me a week ago, Diane, what you think's wrong with the generation under us? I said, I'm gonna tell you my honest opinion. They think somebody owe them. They
Mhm.
don't know nothing about being respectful. They think everybody
Responsible.
owes them. That's the problem.
Well, I
That's
hear
the
you.
problem.
The
Well, some of
problem,
them
And
don't know where they came from, so
Mm,
that's a
yeah,
problem too.
yeah. They don't know the history. Right.
the
Yeah, they don't know where
Like
they
problem
came
so
like
is
how?
from.
when we were coming up, we went to the family reunions. We did
Hmm.
what mom and grandparents said and all that stuff. You
We had
find
to.
now that
Yeah.
the kids are not the kids. The kids think
Hmm.
that they are the parents.
Mm-hmm.
They got it twisted. Of course, I
Hmm.
don't play that with mine, but They got it twisted. I think us as parents, should put our foot
Yeah.
down a little more. Well, I don't even know if it's too late because a lot of them is grown.
Mhm.
We as the parents and grandparents, you have to get your kids involved.
I got a
You-
solution.
Well, she got, yeah.
I got a
Come on,
solution.
Si.
What is it?
I want to tell you guys right now.
What?
We had a village raising us.
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
We had a village
Mhm.
yeah,
raising us. We could go
And
next
we didn't have
door.
options.
right,
Exactly. I
right.
had so many aunt, uncle, mamas, and daddies. You
Yes.
couldn't tell me I wasn't a blessed child.
And don't
But
forget the
now you
neighbors.
try to tell a child, correct a child, you'll get shot
Well, or go
or
to
they'll
jail.
get mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys. Our
Yeah.
parents wanted us to do right. We want
Right.
our kids to
Yeah.
do right.
right.
But nowadays, you
Yeah.
can't
It's
touch,
different.
you
It's
can't
hands
correct
down.
nobody's child
Yeah.
without
It's
them getting an
different.
attitude. Am I right or am I right?
You
Yeah.
right.
I hear you. I hear you.
But
Ed,
this permissive society that we live in today, is that our fault because we became lazy, we worked too much, and we stopped parenting and let the children parent themselves, or allowed the television or the internet to become our children's parents?
babysitters. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a combination of all those things.
Sure.
And like Diane was just saying too, you know, we as Cornett men, I'm not gonna say Cornett women because the Cornett women are a little different, but the Cornett men are mainly what I call enablers. You know what I mean? We went through it. It was tough for us, so we don't want our kids to have go through it. And being an enabler is not good. It really isn't, because
It's
they
not.
miss a lot of life's teaching. Yeah, they miss a lot of life's teachings that are so important. So it's a combination of all of what you just said, Edna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I had
So
another one.
it's go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, I was gonna mention I had another one when you think about um what you regret that you didn't ask them. One of those things, I'm a firm believer on traditions, and that's with families, right? And my mother had a I want to say a talent for crocheting. And after she passed, I picked that up. And I am really right now looking into my nieces and my grandchildren to pick that up so that they can continue to keep that alive, because she made baby blankets, baby hats, all of this stuff for a baby. And I really miss her. I started with her when she made the caps and the dresses and all that, and I only made the blankets because that was not involved to make. But after she passed, Lord, I tell you, after she passed, something was in me. I learned crocheting because my mother was left-handed. I couldn't learn from her. I was right-handed. But I learned crocheting, and I have made dresses, hats, booties, all the to me really hard things to make, and I didn't make them when she was alive. And I just regret that. And I also am trying in my nieces to continue that crocheting thing for babies that come in the family. And it's about probably every 6 months, there's a baby popping up in the family.
Hmm.
So I want to keep that alive, but I have to, train them and teach them how to do it. So that's one of the things I regret, that I didn't learn how to do it when she was here.
Wow, congratulations. That is an art. Etta
Yes, it
Cornett
is.
checked in the chat. She said, I would
Okay.
love to share this information with my grandchildren. So, Etta, I'll tell you what, the show that we did today is going to be saved on the internet. I don't know if you're watching from YouTube or if you're watching from Facebook, but the show will be saved. You will have a copy of this video that you can share this information. You can share the pictures from today. It'll all be saved for you. of course, attend the reunion coming up. I hope you're going to be attending in Alabama, August the 1st through the 4th in Alabama. You can find the Cornett Family Reunion page on Facebook, this Cornett Family Reunion. You'll see it. You'll see Herb's picture and some of the other people as well to be part of that. So do you guys know Etta Cornett?
Edna is
Yeah.
Juan's wife.
Okay,
My
awesome.
my brother Juan, who is going through all the medical concerns right now. That's his wife. Absolutely. And hey, Etta.
Hey,
Thank you.
Edna, you want a kiss for me?
Right.
And J.M. Ross
Bless you.
says, you're
Bless you.
right, Darnell. Thankful for the family teaching and history from my dad and from my grandparents. So, guys, I want to think always that there is hope because I believe that God has a purpose for all of us in our lives. And so the children who are missing out, sometimes we get old and we be hard headed. Y'all know we were, but we
Yeah.
had to learn anyway. We had to learn sometimes the hard way. My dad always would say that, that hard head makes the soft behind.
That's
Yeah.
And
right.
so
That
when he
part.
got through with us, it was no tender behind anymore.
Well,
My father always made sure that he made us be self-correcting. And so we grew up, but we had to self-correct. As we close the show today, anybody have any closing thoughts about the Cornett family, the reunion, and our sharing today on this program, Issues and Opinions with Edna?
I do. I
Yeah, I
I
want to.
I,
I want to.
I was first, Herbie.
uh,
Go
uh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was thinking about this. Robbie has brought this up so many times. Our family is so big and we so close and we love each other. Like, continue to do the family reunion, but I don't think we should keep waiting just once a year to get together. Uh, to be together. We can have a family reunion, a family get together anytime. I don't want to wait. Well, I do, but what I'm saying is we don't have to wait for the family reunion for us to get together. We
True.
got,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I want to just caveat on that because that is so important because it shouldn't take a funeral or a homegoing for us to get together.
That
I
part.
agree with you 100%, man,
That
because
part.
sometimes we wait too long and that person is not there at the reunions anymore. Um, I also would like to just thank you, Edna, for all this. And I want to tell everybody that's listening out there that it's so important to know your family. And what has happened is a lot of our family members were women. And when they got married, they lost their Cornett name, their Hall name, their Combs name. But if you know a little bit about your history, if you bring it to the people on this panel right here, we're going to figure out how you're our cousin. I guarantee you, because there's over 200 years or more just right here sitting at this panel right here. And with that, I wanted to ask Robbie to explain how he's related to his grandmother and my grandmother, and one's a Cornett and one's a Combs.
Right.
Well, as we all know, back in Hazard, let me just be real. There was no TVs way back then, and everybody didn't get to go to the picture show. So if you didn't have anything else to do, hello, no, no,
Right. Right.
it's amazing because Lucian Cornett, being my great grandfather, he had children by Agnes Cornett. Agnes gave birth to Georgia May, Joan, Elsie, Wade, William, and a young one at birth that died, Ellie. Um, then, of course, Wilma's mother, being Molly Asher, she had sisters by Combs, Dr. Britt Combs, who was
Mm-hmm.
the great grandfather of Cheyenne, Kim, and Herbie.
Mm-hmm.
um, and Patty and Debbie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there were Florence, Maud, Jessie, which is their grandmother, Georgie, Combs. So my grandmother had two sisters named Georgia. One was
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Combs, the other one was Georgia May Cornett Brown.
Mm-hmm.
They were Combs, they were Cornett. Then, of course, her being a Cornett, her cousin being Joseph Cornett, which is Joe Cornett, Cheyenne, Kim, and Debbie, and
Mm-hmm.
Patty, and Herb's granddad, the brother to
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
All
That's
right.
a
Yeah.
good
Well,
story too.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
but they
That was
literally
one of
had
them sister cousins.
Oh, he's
Here we
back.
go.
yeah, yeah. So they had, you know, they were cousins, but then Joe married my grandmother Wilma's sister Jessie,
Right.
and they had children who became aunt to nieces, nephews, and then cousins by marrying a cousin. Also, I was young. I was think I was about 13 or 14 years old, and I looked at Granny, I looked at Aunt Jessie, and I looked at
Yeah.
Uncle Joe, and I was like, in my head, I couldn't say it then, and I know today is Sunday, and I just left church, but I was like, what the hell? Like, it was one of those
Yes.
moments, you know, because I was like, how does this happen? How did your sister marry your cousin? But it took me a while to understand as I got older that, you know, siblings that were not related, you could date that other person and so on and so on
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that cornet, dear God, I was 14 years old when I used to try to be on the committee. And then I was elected to be on the committee at 14 years old over in Buckhorn. And
I know. I know.
they taught me
Oh,
so
Buckhorn.
much,
Yeah.
so much. And I want to say this too. One uncle in particular, he gave so much of himself, which they all did. My grandmother, Uncle Joe, all of them. But one in particular, and he sticks out so much to me because he was so like, well, Robbie, I don't know if this will work, man. I don't know if this is gonna work. And
Mm-hmm.
then when it did work, I'll never forget how he came back to me and he responded. He said, "You know what, boy? God put you in this family for a reason." And that was Matthew Cornett.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle
Yeah.
Matt, he was
Yeah.
so, I mean, those brothers, boy, they loved this family.
Oh
They
yeah.
love their
Yeah.
family. And that love that we receive from them, it just trickles and it just keeps going and going and going.
And
Um,
Uncle Matt,
it,
I want.
That
I
was
think
my
I.
grandfather.
yeah, that's
But
Diane's
Uncle
granddad.
Matt,
What?
I feel the same way you do, Robbie.
Yeah.
Uncle
Yeah.
Matt, he encouraged me
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, yeah,
much.
he did.
I
He
love
did.
that man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
always had a
And
pocket full of change, man. He loved
Mm-hmm.
giving
I
you
was
that
great. You took
change
the
in his
words out of
pocket.
my mouth. You took the words out of my mouth. He take his hat off and say, "Now let's pass the plate around." And when he pass his hat around, we take up an offering. Yeah,
I
he
Yeah.
took our
always
hat off.
now this is crazy, but I said, boy, I wish he was my grandpa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle
Right.
Matt, I wish Uncle
Mm-hmm.
Matt was my grandpa. I was a kid, that's all I knew. That's
Yeah.
all I knew.
Yeah, yeah,
He was a
yeah.
and
But
it's
wonderful,
so
wonderful
interesting that we
man.
can think back. I can think about my uncles, John Willie Combs, James Combs, the brothers that lived in Hazard, Lionel
Mm-hmm.
Combs,
I
Mm-hmm.
and
spent a
Paul
many a
Combs.
nights at your uncle's house.
Right.
Many a
And you
Wow.
night.
also, Uncle John, you also
John.
told me, asked me, you said,
Well, see, my uncle too. I said,
I
Uncle
look like
John.
Shell. I said, that's my twin
Yeah,
cousin. Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a many
Yeah.
a nights
And
down
Aunt
there with
Edith and
him.
Aunt Charity, Charity Linden,
Yeah.
all the Aunt
Yeah.
Edith,
and
all
see,
of
and
them,
that's just
but they were the ones that instilled all of that in me to be able to do what I do. And it kept me going and not being part of the family reunion. I didn't do that until probably back in the 90s, but I got involved and started doing program books and bringing professionalism into that and was able to pass that
Mm.
on, and the younger people in the generation started. And also I do the website, keep up with all the family obituaries and all that, so there is a legacy being left behind, so we all have to
Mm-hmm.
continue to do that, put whatever we're doing in writing and
Yeah.
making copies of it, and and
Yeah.
making it part of a website.
Yeah.
Teach the younger people. So that is
That's the
important.
reason I said
You know-
our village raised us back in the day.
Yeah,
Because
Indeed.
we looked
Yes.
up to,
And another person that which his mother was a Cornett. If I'm not mistaken, I'm right. Uncle Luke Hogg. His
Luke
mother
Hogg.
was a
No.
Cornett. Yes.
No,
And
no.
was it
You
not
talking
his
about
mother?
Uncle Luke?
Right.
Yeah.
No, honey. Uncle Luke, mother was Walker.
A Walker, I'm sorry, I mean Walker. A Walker. The Walkers are kin, and then the Halls are kin to me on my grandfather, my mother's and their father's side as well. So we double kin
The
on
Walker,
that
that's
side.
when I said the Walkers, we left out
Yeah.
the Walkers.
The
Yes.
Walkers, yeah. It's like,
And
but Uncle Luke was another one there in Hazard that took in a lot of the young people
Now he
and
did
showed the
raise
young
me.
people and taught the young people who
right.
their family really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was
our
important.
family,
His mother was named America. But they
America
called her
Walk. Yeah,
Murky.
that's it.
They
Yeah,
called her
Right.
Murky. That's it.
It's our
Yeah,
family,
that's
the Combs family with Simon Combs, my grandfather, Burnham Combs, his brother, Cassie Combs, his brother as well. They were three brothers, and then one more was they were all originally owned by the enslavers named Hogg, Hogg. So
Right.
when those brothers came to Hazard, all of them changed their name to Combs, which was another enslaver's name. They didn't want to be called Hoggs, but one brother who stayed a Hogg. So that family, I'm in connection with Viola Hogg from Hazard, who you may know. And hopefully we're going to have her on the show because she's going to talk about the Hogg legacy and, how we're all connected with them because we are from Combs. We would have been Hoggs, but they changed the name to Combs. So that's just part of that story. So it is so
watch
interesting.
Viola.
I don't know Viola, but I had a conversation with her.
Watch
And
Viola.
Viola White.
Viola
Yeah.
and Monica Combs, my cousin, and my
Yeah.
brother's name was Craig. They were all buddies back in the day. And so I can't wait to get her on the show to talk about what she knows about the rest of the family. But as we close, any closing comments from anyone as we close the show today?
Thank you.
I just wondered, is
Thank you.
Patty and them still on here?
I'm sorry.
Is
been
Patty
gone.
still on here?
It says
They
No,
are
no,
still
okay.
there, but I
There
think
they are.
their
Well, they were there.
They're in and out.
channel might
Okay.
be dead, but
All
we
right.
want to thank them for joining us, and thank you all for joining us on the chat today. It's so important that you
Thank
have all
you.
been with us and been part of the program. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck
Let me
for
tell
you
you-
all in your reunion. We'll be connecting and we'll be watching each other.
Okay.
And thank you all for being part of the show today. Thank you all.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Love my
Thank you.
family.
Thanks for tuning in to Straight Talk Live with renowned radio pioneer Edna Howell-Parrish, the program dedicated to presenting thought-provoking issues and opinions with the goal of challenging listeners to re-examine their assumptions and expand their opinions and give thought to new ideas and concepts to better their lives and the lives of others. Join us next week for another opportunity to participate in making the world better. So until next week, live your best life from your friends at Straight Talk Live and host Edna Howell-Parrish.